Hello everybody. Okay, got lots to go over today. We've got the Lori Vallow Daybell hearing about to start in about 15 minutes. So hopefully that gives you guys enough time to get in here, get situated. Please smash that like on your way in so we can get this out in the algorithm. Good morning, Sammy. Give out some shout outs. Sammy, good morning. Leslie Smith Doan, nice to see you, my dear. Rebecca, nice to see you guys this morning. So I thought that this was going to be starting at 11:30, 9:30 Idaho time, but 11:30 my time. But I just got word that it's starting at 11. So that's why I had to change the time, you guys. Nana, hi, baby. How are you? She's good morning, baby girl. Good morning. Cleta, good morning. So today we should be finding out. Let me just get all my. Okay, hang on. I just got to write this down because if not, I'm going to forget. Because I have more information. Another search warrant has been released, this time on Brian Kohlberger's house where he was arrested. Tons of stuff taken, you guys. So I will be doing that right after this live ends. We will go over the list of everything that they took from Brian Kohlberger's parents' house, also from the car. Okay, so we're going to go over that as soon as this live is done. I also do have a new read coming out on another case, so watch for that either later today or tomorrow. I don't know if I'll get to it now today because of all these coming out, but I just released one the other day for a popular radio host out of San Francisco, the Bay Area. He is still missing, so if you haven't seen that read, go check that one out. I just released it 2 days ago. You can find all of that under the live tab on my channel. Cleta, thank you so much. Thank you. Babs, veterans are family. Welcome. Bird brain, good morning. Okay, so I do have all those new search warrants and what they took from Brian Kohlberger's parents' house. Also, what was taken from the car. It's really interesting, you guys. So you're not going to want to miss that. That's going to be, give me about half an hour after this live stream ends, and we will go over that. Don't forget, you guys, when my live streams end, they do go private for about 15-20 minutes, but then they are back up. It gives us time to upload it to YouTube and get all the information and everything in there. So, okay, now I'm just writing all this down so I don't forget. You know me, in my old age, it's getting rough. Okay, so let me also get up here who we're going to be following today for information coming out in the Vallow Daybell. I was set back a little bit here, you guys, because and there's my door. Never fails, you guys. Never fails. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, you guys. All right, sorry about that, you guys. I had to sign for that one, so. And thank you again, Kalita Newbie, for your donation to the channel. I appreciate it. It really helps. Summer Dawn, hello. That's okay, Summer. Sammy, good morning. Everything is going off this morning, you guys. Everything. Let me just turn off my phone here. It never fails. As soon as I get online, you guys, phone starts going off, doorbell starts ringing, people start coming into the house. It's oh, Stephanie Hayes Ward, good morning from Arizona. All right. So I do believe I have a couple that are going to be in the courtroom. I don't know why that is going off. Everything is just going wrong here this morning, you guys. Okay, so I am waiting for information to come out of the courtroom. Hopefully that starts happening soon so we can find out what is going on here. So it does look like the Zoom is set up in the courtroom. So apparently it looks like Chad will be on Zoom. And it looks like Lori is going to be there in person because there is a lot of yellow caution tape out in the parking lot surrounding the door that they bring the prisoners in through. They do that when they have a high profile person coming from the jail, so nobody can, get at them. They keep them back from the entrance. So that yellow caution tape is up. Okay, I just sent out another DM, you guys, just to make sure I've got the ones that said that they were going to be here. So some reporters had spoke with Larry Woodcock, hello Candalee, after the last hearing. And he says he hopes the trials remain joined, but closure is going to come. We're in no hurry. We can wait. Also, for those of you who are following the Murdaugh trial, they've released another juror, so they've only got one alternate left now. They didn't give any reason for removing that juror, but after they took all the jury to their home yesterday, where this incident happened, where Maggie and Paul were murdered, they took them to the Kohlberger. I'm a mess this morning, you guys. To the Murdaugh home and kennels. Good morning, Crime Curious. And after that, it was one of the jurors were removed. So they're down to one alternate left from what I'm hearing. Now, like I said, after this hearing this morning, you guys, I will be jumping into, give me about half an hour to 45 minutes to get all set up for it. But I will be jumping into the Brian Kohlberger. There are new search warrants that have been released for his parents' home and the car. So we're going to be going over those. Brian Kohlberger also wrote a note to his dad and apparently had a man's world drawing. So Candalee says she just came over from there and the defense's closing argument is horrible. You know, I've been asked a lot what I think. Let me just check here, you guys, before I get on to that, because we're with the Lori Vallow stuff. I'm going to comment on that, Candalee. Okay, so the grand jury witness list was released in the Lori and Chad Daybell. Okay, don't mind me, you guys. I'm just looking for other people who are there. So I guess they're looking into, not only has Lori been indicted in the death of Charles Vallow, they're also now looking into Joe Ryan. Okay. So we do know, you guys, that Lori is going to be there. Oh my God, my home monitor just went out and then back on. Oh, I just lost my other screens. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, they're looking into the Joe. Ryan death too. Okay, so Candalee Woodward, I believe right now, I think he's going to walk. And I know it's not a popular opinion, and I'm going to tell you why. The evidence just isn't there to show that he pulled the trigger. There's some evidence there that, you know, could he have done all of this and then left in 6 minutes? You know what I mean? I don't think, as much as the prosecution put on, I feel they lost the jury when they were constantly on about his frauds, about the stealing the money and this and that. Hello, Kelly B. I feel like they really lost the jury there. To bring it up is one thing, but to focus this whole trial, basically, I'd say 70% of it was focused on the theft of the money and lying to his the other lawyers and stuff like that. I feel personally that they lost the jury because of that. And then the evidence that they did put out, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. They didn't bring specific evidence in. They didn't look at specific things because it didn't fit the narrative that they were putting out. It would have given reasonable doubt. So they just didn't touch on it at all. Like, how long does it take to get from the house to the kennels on a golf cart? Where is the evidence showing, okay, if you still say it's Alex and he could have been on the golf cart shooting, why didn't they reenact that? Why didn't they do the measurements on that to rule it out? Because it gives reasonable doubt and it wouldn't have fit the measurements. Like, there's a lot that I caught there, you guys. That's just a couple. They touched on a gunshot to the chicken coop or something. Like I said, I haven't watched the whole thing, you guys, but what I have seen, I just don't think they've got enough to convict him. And the defense, okay, I'm losing myself here. Like I said, I'm rattled this morning, you guys, because this is starting earlier than what I thought. The gunshot to the chicken coop. They never explained why that shot was fired, where that shot came from. The ones that were into the doghouse, they did. There's just a lot of things that I find the prosecution brought up and then never backed it up with any proof. And what gets me is the 6-minute timeline. If they think that he could get from the house to the kennels, do the 2 murders, get back to the house, and then be in the vehicle on his way out in 6 minutes, I don't buy it. I don't. Do I think he was involved? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I really do think, and what the defense is doing is they're just, I call it childish talk, and it's not. It's very serious. But the way that the defense is doing this is brilliant, because they're not opening the doors to any other evidence being brought in. If they open the door on something, that opens the prosecution to be able to either debunk it, comment on it, whatever. They're doing very good with not bringing in or allowing any other evidence to be brought in. Things that they know aren't right in the case could be detrimental to the defense. The defense knows it, but they're skirting around that so it's not brought up and not brought in. I think the way that they are defending this is brilliant. And it's sad. Kelly B, I agree. Brian is guilty. I agree. But we're on the Vallow Daybell case, so let's stick to that one. I am going to Soulshine Mimi. I am going to be covering the Brian Kohlberger one next. So once this live ends, give me about half an hour, and I will have that one up. I've got more search warrants to go over, what they've taken from Brian's Kohlberger's house, from his car, etc. I'll be doing that live once this one is done. Takes about half an hour for me to get all this uploaded. So this video will be going private for a bit. Once it's done, I got to get that uploaded and get the Brian Kohlberger one started. Yep, they didn't. And there's a reason for that. Because if the defense talks about it, then that opens the door for the prosecution. So I think the way that the defense has handled this, and a lot of people have been saying, I don't want to get onto this, make this about the Murdaugh, but I think it's brilliant. And I do think he's going to walk, and I do think he's guilty of having something to do with it. Okay, so let me get back over here, you guys, and see what's up. They should be in court. Okay, so Lori just entered the courtroom. She's wearing a pink blouse, black pants, and boots. She's also wearing shackles around her ankles. The hearing has begun, and Chad and his lawyer are on Zoom. So today, you guys, this is the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell. We should be getting information about the DNA on the new hairs that were found. As I explained before, as we're waiting for stuff to come out here, as I explained before, they couldn't do any testing on this DNA, the duct tape DNA, because Lori's case had been stayed. They had to wait for her to come back and be competent, for her to be able to argue regarding that evidence, whether they were in agreement with the consumptive testing, etc., etc. That was finally ironed out in December when they sent the duct tape to the lab. The lab opens it up. They see these new hairs. They could not test those in a timely manner, so they were sent out to another lab in California. And now that those results are back, we know that John Pryor has been fighting tooth and nail to get this trial severed. He's also asking for a continuance. He wants the April 3rd trial date vacated, and he wants it set out into the fall. And the judge should be ruling on all of that today, you guys. I think the judge is really getting fed up. Let me just see. Okay. Okay, so I have two that are reporting from the courtroom, you guys. So we've only got the two. There's one that was really, really good. He is not available today. So we are going to be following these two. Always Sunshine Mini, always. You and a lot of people, Summer Dawn. They are there via Zoom. That's just part of it, Summer. There's a lot more to it than just that. I think the judge is going to probably say something about that today, too. We're just going to have to wait and see what comes out. Hello, Laurel's Heart. Clemedy, hello and good morning. Smash that like button on your way in, you guys. 49 viewers, 25 likes. And thank you, Kalita Newbie, for the $3 super sticker. Okay, so only one of Lori's lawyers is there today. That's Jim Archibald. He's in court with her. Judge Boyce, I intend to make rulings on the pending motions this morning after arguments are completed. And this is another thing I said, you guys. I said he's going to make rulings today. Like, he's getting fed up, and everybody's going, no. He's going to take it all under advisement. But no, he's going to make some rulings today, and I think he's going to put the heat on and take back his courtroom, which would be very nice to see. Glamady, member for 13 months. Thank you, Willow, for all your hard work. You're very welcome, Glamady. Those ones there, the monthly ones that you get, Glamma, I wish I could put it up on screen, but it doesn't allow me to put it on the StreamYard screen. They just don't even show up on my StreamYard. The super chats, super stickers do, but the free ones do not. But thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for being a member for 13 months. Wow. I think you're one of the group that are the longest standing members. So thank you for that. I don't think that has anything to do with, even if it is Lori's DNA, that has nothing to do really with the sever. The sever is, he feels that there are two different cases and that they should be presented two different ways. There's a whole bunch of slew of reasons why they should be severed, in his opinion. But if Lori's DNA is on that duct tape, I would be surprised, because there's no evidence showing that Lori was even in that area. Do I believe she was involved? Yes. The conspiracy? Yes. I don't believe she took part in the actual murders. Did she know it was going to happen? Absolutely. But I don't think she took part at all. I think she kept herself as far away from Chad's property during that time as possible. No, I don't think there's very much, because they know that there's going to be the judge is going to make rulings today, so there's nothing really to argue about anymore. So he's just there to record the ruling and to, for scheduling, to make sure their schedules aren't going to collide with any future hearings or anything that are set. Artie's Fleetwood, thank you. I hope you do too. Thank you. So it's already been said that Judge Boyce says he is going to make rulings on the pending motions. Those motions are a motion to sever and motions to continue, which means the trial would not start April 3rd. And we have got a winter storm starting again today. So let's hope I can get through everything today in case power goes out again. I agree. I'm sorry, you guys. I took my medication for my COPD and it dries out my throat. That's why I'm coughing. I figured I would be able to get something into me, some yogurt or something to coat my throat to get rid of that before I started. So please forgive me. It's an inhaler and it really irritates my throat bad. I take it every morning. So if you do see me mute, that's why. Don't want you guys to have to listen to that. Okay, so Kelly B says, personally, I feel she did put her hands on JJ. Tylee, no, but I see her outing hands on JJ. No doubt in my mind she touched his neck. See both kids with neck injuries. Well, none of that's been released, so. Stay-at-home mom detective, good morning. Thank you, Summer Dawn. Yeah. And the kids are still being held. Their remains are still being held. Yes. Not so much a hot toddy. I don't drink, so that's out of the question. But I have been having herbal teas, and tea with honey is good too. But like I said, I got up, I started doing what I had to do to get ready for all this and the few things I had to do around my own home here, and figuring I had until, about 20 after 11, but I didn't. It's this, I was given the wrong time for this, for this to be starting this morning. So, but thank you for that, Summer Dawn. Hot water and lemon. Yeah, I heard that works too. But like I said, my throat right now, it's from my inhalers. It really irritates my throat. Every morning I go through a coughing spell for about half an hour after taking those inhalers. So, okay, so let's get back to this. Oh, it's horrible, you guys. Okay, so John Pryor is arguing that he will need at least 60 days. Wow. To get the DNA testing done on the most recent report received on Tuesday during the last hearing. That's the new fibers I was talking about. Pryor is talking about the new DNA report. The judge says we are talking about a significant piece of information, a piece of information that will have a profound impact on this case. Oh boy. I can't overemphasize the significance on what this information means. Oh boy, you guys. Okay, so what I'm going to say, and I just tweeted it back to this person who's in the courtroom here. What I'm going to say is, don't forget, Chad has pleaded not guilty. Wasn't there. He didn't do it. Somebody else placed them kids there. I believe it's Chad's hairs they found on the duct tape. Don't forget, Alex was bald. Alex Cox was bald. Yeah, I believe Tylee will be released to her brother Colby. Her brother will be probably claiming her body. I do believe that Larry and Kay have said that they would like to keep them together when they're buried. But I think the next one in line would be Kobe. Okay, so true to form, John Pryor is saying he needs 60 days to get the DNA testing. I'm anxious to hear what the prosecution and Archibald is going to say about that. Because if the prosecution can be ready to go and Archibald can be ready to go, then I think the judge is going to be, I don't know. He's making it hard. But Pryor is arguing that he will need at least 60 days to get the DNA testing done on the most recent report received on Tuesday during the last hearing. Lori's lawyer, Jim Archibald, is agreeing with John Pryor. If my client waived her right to a speedy trial, I would also be asking for more time. But since she has held that right and held it close to her, I have to respect the constitutional autonomy that she has. So he is saying, although he agrees with John Pryor, which is like, it's contradictory. If my client waived her right to a speedy trial, I would also be asking for more time. I think it was just worded wrong here. I think Jim Archibald is saying, well, yeah, because Chad waived his right to a speedy trial. So no wonder John Pryor has no problem keeping on putting this off and putting it off. But Jim Archibald's client, who is Lori, has not waived her right to a speedy trial, and she wants her trial to go ahead. John Pryor is really overemphasizing the significance of the evidence. He's saying that he's not going to be able to have it analyzed and whatever else he needs to have it done by the time of the court. Archibald says there are interviews from witnesses and the FBI recorded in 2020 that he just received days ago. So Jim Archibald is also saying that he's only received interviews from witnesses and the FBI recorded in 2020. He just received those a few days ago. Like, why? Like, this is getting bad, you guys. Yeah, the judge is in a predicament. This may be put off again, you guys, because it seems Archibald is agreeing with John Pryor that they need to put it off because he says that there are interviews from witnesses and that the FBI recorded in 2020 that he just received days ago. Like, what is going on here, you guys? Like, why are they only getting the recorded interviews from witnesses that happened back in 2020? Why are they only getting it a few days ago? Yes. Absolutely, Summer Dawn. Yeah, she would have to waive her right to a speedy trial, but Jim Archibald has just said he's contradicted himself. He's saying he agrees with John Pryor, but he also brings up my client has not waived her right to a speedy trial. So I mean, it's a double-edged sword. He's playing both sides of the fence there, as far as I'm concerned. The state is arguing that it gave the majority and bulk of evidence to the prosecution on time. What? Okay, so this one I'm following you guys. Obviously, there's some errors here. Let me read through it first before I put it out on my channel, because this does not make sense. She's put out, the state is arguing that it gave the majority and bulk of evidence to the prosecution on time. No, I think she meant to say the state is arguing that it gave the majority and bulk of evidence to the defense on time. Judge Boyce responded, "These are capital charges. Are the defense not entitled to all of the disclosure? They are entitled to all evidence, not the bulk or majority." Like I said, you guys, Judge Boyce is fed up. I think today is the day that he is going to start making decisions that neither side, including the prosecution, is going to like. He just called the prosecution out there. He just bitch slapped them. I'll read it again. Judge Boyce responded, "These are capital charges. Are the defense not entitled to all of the disclosure? They are entitled to all evidence, not the bulk or majority." Like, he just gave them a bitch slap. So far, the prosecution has been sitting really pretty. The state is arguing that it gave the bulk of evidence to the defense on time. Archibald said there are interviews from witnesses and recordings going back to 2020 that he also just received days ago. Wow. Right? Like, at this point, yeah, like, I don't know what's in the water lately, you guys. Lori's not going to agree to an extension. She wants to get going on her trial. And now they're bringing out that we're just getting this evidence now. You know what I mean? Like, they've been complaining the whole time, and I don't blame them, that she has not waived her right to a speedy trial. The judge is not going to be able to put hers off again without either dismissing her charges, or this is going to give her good cause. Hang on a second. Good cause on an appeal. So the judge is in between a rock and a hard place right now. I agree, Summer Dawn. As much as I don't want to see her charges dismissed, it's looking like if they're not dismissed here, she has grounds of appeal, and it'll be thrown out on appeal, because we're going to almost a year since, well, she was arraigned in April. We're a month short of a year. since she's been arraigned and she has not been brought to trial yet, and she has not waived her right to a speedy trial. And even with the prosecution arguing, well, between October 14th and November 9th, she was back in hospital. Right. But she was still out in time to continue to do her trial in October when it was set under the speedy trial rules. If not, okay, fine. They moved it to January 6th or January 9th. That should have went ahead. She has been perfectly competent in everything since then. Yes, she has done, I think, but never enough to did. So she has ground. Sadly, I'm sorry. I don't like to say that. And I don't like seeing people like her getting off on something that was within the prosecution's control. They have fought so hard to keep these two together that they have done that at the expense of possibly having Lori's charges dismissed. Or getting dismissed on appeal. I wish I could be in that courtroom, you guys. Very technical talk about DNA testing. So they're talking about this DNA testing. The state is saying they did not have that particular DNA evidence being discussed today in its possession to complete consumptive testing until November 19th. I think Rob wants her to take the deal and flip on Chad. Chad and Alex. That's what I think he wants. And I think her holding out and not accepting that has really irked Rob Wood. Yeah, her rights are being violated. As sad as it is for me to have to say that, her rights have been violated, as far as I'm concerned, since October of last year. Yes, I would love to hear that. What are you guys' thoughts? What do you guys think? I know it's not a popular opinion, but I feel that she's going to win on appeal anyway. If they move the trial date, if they vacate the trial date and move it again, I do believe her charges should be dismissed under the rules of right to a speedy trial, unless they agree to put it out. Because Jim Archibald agreeing with John Pryor that they need time to go over these DNA tests and everything, but then coming back with, if my client waived her right to a speedy trial, I'd also be asking for more time. But since she has held that right and held it close to her, I have to respect the Constitution and autonomy that she has. In other words, we want a speedy trial. So as much as he says, yeah, they need more time to go over the evidence, he's saying, but we're not willing to change the April 3rd trial date. They want to go forward. And basically what he's saying is he's fed up with this being put off, and going against her rights to a speedy trial. And it's not anything to do with them particularly. This is all John Pryor's doing. It's John Pryor that keeps having this vacated, the trial dates vacated. Nothing to do with Lori or her attorneys or the prosecution. Now, understand what I'm saying there. I'm not saying the prosecution has done what they should be doing. Trying to sever and get these dates vacated. He's the one that's got the dates vacated. It has not been the prosecution asking for for the dates to be vacated, and it has not been Archibald. It's always been Pryor. So I get what he's saying there. They're ready to go regardless. She wants to go regardless. Lori seems to be writing a lot of notes on her notepad. I don't think she can argue an effective counsel because they have said this each and every time. Your Honor, my client wishes to have her speedy trial. We are not in agreement to vacate the court dates. We've been wanting her court date since last October when her first trial date was set. It's not us that had that vacated. It's always been the other defense team that's had it vacated. We've always requested it to go ahead. So, I mean, she's had effective counsel. They're pushing her rights. He has filed motions to have it dismissed, and the judge is denied. Kitty, I agree. And like I said, this DNA had to have come back to be Chad's because he said that he wasn't there. He had no part of it. They came onto his property and did. That's what I mean, it hasn't been said, but that's what I'm saying is going to be happening. I've said this since, if you guys go back to that read, when all this was going on in Hawaii, that read that I did said exactly what's happening now, that Chad is going to try and throw Lori under the bus. Lori at this point is not willing to throw Chad under the bus because I don't think she really understands what Chad is trying to do. And I'm sure Archibald has tried to tell her. But her googly eyes and everything, I don't think she's believing it. Good morning, Marie. So for those of you who are here, I will be doing the coverage of the Brian Koberger next. There are more search warrants that have been released of his parents' house, what they've taken from there. There's over 60 items. We'll get into that. Also for stuff that they had taken from the car, we're going to get into that. You're going to have to give me half an hour. This live here will be private for, usually it's about 15 minutes for it to upload and everything once it's done. And I will be jumping into the Koberger thing next to bring you guys all that. I've got the copies of everything that's been filed. I will be going over that in the next live, which will be shortly after this one ends. But just remember, when this one ends, it does go private for a bit, and then it will be back up for everybody to see. Okay, so Judge Boyce, it appears to me, as it's been disclosed, that there is something there. It is DNA evidence. It came directly from a crime scene, and it's indicative of unknown persons that could further be identified through additional testing. Unknown DNA. That's huge. You know what, you guys? I've just been blindsided. Never even crossed my mind. But there is an unknown. The hairs on that duct tape, that's the samples they're talking about, is indicative of an unknown person that could be further identified through additional testing. So what they are saying is somebody else was there wrapping JJ's body because there's unknown DNA that was left there. So they have Lori's DNA, they have Alex's DNA, they have Chad's DNA. Whose DNA is it? Darla Moody, that has already been debunked. And right now we can only that's huge, you guys. I don't know who MG is. Melanie Gibb. I don't know, you guys. But the DNA, it came directly from the crime scene. So that is the DNA that was found on the duct tape. It's indicative of an unknown person that could be further identified through additional testing. That is huge. Huge. All we can do right now, you guys, is guess. Boyce is having a discussion with the state during their argument. Isn't the best remedy here to allow time for testing so we don't have to delve into speculation about what all of this evidence is? Oh boy. Let's add a little bit to that, Sammy. This is a hot mess. Yeah. I'm going to write that down, Summer. Just wrote that down so I don't forget. Yeah, if it was Chad's son, there would be DNA markers there. It's not out of the question, Marie. And let's see what Archibald is going to say about this now. Well, we do know that the DNA evidence that they found that on that duct tape is not Chad, it's not Lori, and it's not, well, Alex is bald. It's not Chad, and it's not Lori. So there's somebody else's DNA that was on that duct tape. Okay, you know what I'm going to do, you guys? I'm going to pull... I'm not going to put it on camera, but I'm going to pull a couple cards right now as we are waiting. Give me a second here. Okay. Oops. My desk is a mess, you guys. Okay, wait. Let me see. Might as well do this. Okay. Look at my mess, you guys. Okay, let me just do this right in front of you guys so nobody can say that I'm making shit up or... Okay, we're going to ask about this new DNA. The unknown DNA. How is it connected to Lori and Chad? Whose could it be? Let's see. I'm just going to split them, you guys, because my hand is really hurting me today. That's why I have my... Okay. The World. And the Lovers in reverse. The Queen of Wands in reverse. So we have the World upright. Somebody is celebrating big time. Somebody was able to... This is a brilliant success. This is somebody succeeding at something. Something really good happening. You got some pentacles here and everything. Everything falling into place for them. We've got the Lovers and we've got the Queen of Wands. I believe it's a friend. It's one of their friends. This is Chad and Lori. It's telling me about Chad and Lori. The Lovers is Chad and Lori. And we've got the Queen. I believe it's one of Lori's friends. Somebody very close to Lori. Or it's a female. One of the two. I feel it's somebody very close to them personally. I think even maybe a little bit closer to Lori. But I do believe that this is a female. This is also in the reverse. So the balance was out. Whoever these hairs belong to, I do believe it's going to be a female. I do believe that they were kind of coerced into this somehow. I really feel like Chad could have said, you're knee deep in this. You're going to go down with us anyway. So you might as well help, because these are in reverse. And this is somebody that Lori could either be very jealous of a lot of the time, or doesn't really trust. But it is a female. Okay, so I just wanted to pull those cards, you guys, just to get an idea, see what the card said. Let's see the outcome. It's all recorded, so let's see how accurate that is going to be when we find out whose DNA this is. Okay, back to the courtroom. No, it's not Lori. They have Lori's DNA. They would have been able to match her. Okay, so let's see. Judge Boyce says if the trial gets continued, it likely won't start until close to the end of the year, if that. And that would, to me, you guys, that would mean that Lori's would be dismissed because that would be almost 2 years past her arraignment. Right? Well, the judge is going to make rulings today. I hope he doesn't now say under advisement because of this, but this is getting interesting. I have a funny feeling, you guys, that if he continues this trial date, Lori's is going to be dismissed. The only thing, the way of saving this is to get Lori to trial on April 3rd and sever these cases. Absolutely, Rainy Joe. The only option he has right now is to sever these cases and go ahead on April 3rd with Lori and put out Chad's. And the thing with that is they are going to see all the evidence and the angle in which Lori's attorneys, and that's why I'm going to tell you straight up. I think John Pryor has been playing a huge game, and this is only my opinion. He has been doing this 100% because he wants to see how the prosecution is going to present. He wants these severed. The prosecution has said the trials are going to be identical information coming out, identical witnesses, identical everything. That's why they say they should be stayed together. Now, that they should stay together, joined. Pryor saying, oh God, no, we got to know everything that they know. So let's get these severed. Let's let Lori's case go ahead so we can see everything that they've got. So we have time to make our case and figure out how we're going to get around what they have. That's been his number one. And that is why he wants these trials severed. Any little thing that he could find to sever these cases or to bring up the argument to sever, he has. This just may be it. Yeah, if Lori is dismissed, she'll get hers in Arizona for sure. Um, she may, if she takes this deal, she may be pleading guilty to her lesser charge, which will keep her locked up anyway, and keeps her locked up until her trial in Arizona. And once she goes for that trial, because she has been indicted in for first degree murder in the murder of Charles Vallow, her ex husband, and now they are looking into Ryan too, Joe Ryan, into his death. That's Tylee's dad. Aw, I'm sorry to hear that, Cat's Karma. I hope your ankle heals up really soon. Take it easy, put it up, get some pampering in, get those around you that love you, pamper you, pamper you, pamper you. Thank you for being here and thank you for coming into the chat. We appreciate you. Well, it's their job. They may not like it. And there's a lot of cases that I was part of in defending that I wasn't proud of, but you got to put your personal, thoughts, feelings, morals, values, everything aside and defend them to the best of your ability. And you take that oath. I couldn't do it, but Lori just scribbling away on her notepad. So Judge Boyce is saying that if the trial gets continued, it likely won't start until close to the end of this year or next year. Because he says close to the end of the year, if that. So in other words, you're looking at next year, which would mean 2 years after Lori's arraigned, she's still not in trial. If he vacates this and pushes her out to next year also. That is like automatic dismissal. Come on. Unless he severs. I think severing them at this point is the only way that he can save any of this. It's also sounding like the state could possibly be getting slapped with sanctions. Judge Boyce has also ordered that all subpoenas that are being issued are going to be under seal. Seal capital. This is not Idaho anymore. This is the state is going to be renamed to Seal State. And Lori, like writing in this notebook and everything, you guys, this is the same thing we've seen during the last hearing. She was just like scribbling away like you wouldn't believe. I think there's a sidebar going on right now, you guys. Yeah, it's been drug out so long that's like 3 years. It's going to be like 5 years by the time they, if he pushes this out. I mean, this is going to be bad, you guys. We have unknown DNA now from the duct tape that wrapped JJ's body. We have unknown DNA. That's huge. Number two, we have Lori, who's been very combative and who wants her right to a speedy trial, who has been denied that on 2 occasions so far, October and January. And if he puts this trial out again, that's going to be 3 times. 3 strikes, you're out. If Jim Archibald says we're ready to go, my client wants to go ahead, and the judge doesn't sever these and give her April 3rd, I believe it's going to have to be dismissed. And we got John Pryor that's doing everything in his power to have that done, to either get a sever or to have this pushed way out so far that Lori's not even part of it. And if Lori's is dismissed, she's heading to Arizona. Arizona, she's not going to get out of jail, you guys. Arizona will be on the doorstep of the jail to pick her up when she's walking out after her charges are dismissed. They have, well, I know here in Canada, I don't know about in the States, but if your case is dismissed or you've been found not guilty, they have to release you from the jail. Okay, you have to be released. But what happens is when you're walking out that door to be released, as soon as you step off the jail property, the cops are there to rearrest you and she'll be hauled back to Arizona. That's how it works here in Canada. By law, they have to release you. So they release her. If this was in Canada, they would release her from the jail. As soon as she steps outside those gates, there's cops all around that are there to arrest her, to haul her ass back to Arizona. Looks like they're still in sidebar, you guys. Got you, Summer Dawn. Codependent charges. So the only thing, and this is only my opinion, you guys, I think at this point the judge is going to have no other alternative but to dismiss. Dismiss. Sorry, I'm writing at the same time here. I don't think he's going to have any other choice but to sever. If he doesn't sever these trials now and let Lori go ahead April 3rd, then they're going to file for a dismissal, and at that point, they're going to have to grant it. Let me read this, you guys. J.J. Vallow's grandparents issued eerie warning over cult mom Lori's doomsday lover Chad Daybell ahead of murder trial. This was just updated. Let me just go through this. Hang on. So they've issued an eerie warning about alleged cult mom Lori Vallow's husband Chad Daybell ahead of their trial. What did they say? What's the warning? They are in Boise, Idaho, and they plan on staying there until the end of the trial. So they've rented a place in Boise, Idaho, Kay and Larry. See, there it is. Larry Woodcock said he is expected that Chad Daybell would turn on Lori. I said that 2 years ago. It came out in one of my reads. You guys have to go back and listen to that. You'll find that under the video tab. He said that this is Larry speaking. He said that he didn't expect the lovers' unity to last much longer. I know that Chad is going to do his best to throw Lori under the bus. In fact, not under the bus, under a stomp steam roller. So JJ's grandparents said that they saw Lori look over at her husband during the hearings. However, Chad Daybell would often keep his head down or talk to his lawyer, totally ignoring her. They're also charged together with the death of Chad's wife, Tammy. Okay, so let's get back over here and see if there's anything else yet. They were in a sidebar, you guys. Okay, so Judge Boyce has requested a 20-minute recess to allow him to deliberate on his rulings. So we got 20 minutes, you guys, and he's going to come back and he's going to give his rulings on all this. So he's going to give a ruling on the severance. He's going to give a ruling on the continuance. Oh my gosh, you guys. And at this point, I just don't know what he is going to choose. Let me just see here. Okay, I see a lot of people commenting on it, like with this reporter, and one person says the judge giving the state a bunch of sanctions is about the only way to it's all jumbled here, you guys, but they're saying, this person is saying that the state with sanctions is about the only way for a trial to happen in April, meaning other evidence not be allowed, dismiss indictment, or remove DP. Sorry, you guys. Sorry, you guys. I'm being asked something over here, so. Oh, gosh. Oh, Chad's not going to be found out guilty. Kelly B says if Chad's found not guilty, no, he's not going to be found out guilty. Thank you, Marie. Okay, so at this point, all I can say is they've got a couple choices. They can sever the cases. Now, this is all going to depend on Archibald, too. If Archibald agrees to put it off for a couple months and not complain about the speedy trial thing, cool. But John Pryor's, the judge is saying they probably don't have court time until next year or the end of this year. So there's going to be an issue there. So I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think I think Lori's side would agree to maybe a month or two, but I don't think they're going to agree to the end of the year or next year. So that takes that off the table. So the only option that they would have is to sever the trials, let Lori go ahead on April 3rd. If she's not willing to put it off for a couple months, put her through on April 3rd and let Chad continue his. But I'm feeling if they force this trial to stay joined and they put it off until the end of this year, beginning of next year, Lori has grounds for dismissal. And if the judge doesn't dismiss for her, then there is a very good possibility that her whole thing is going to be thrown out on trial. Then she'll have a case against them to sue them. Oh, it could get sloppy. I mean, it's sloppy as it is, you guys. I mean, I don't know what Wood was thinking, or hang on a second. I forget where I was at now. They're in a 20-minute recess. They should be back anytime now. But I feel like there's some serious, like this judge is really going to have to put the gavel down on this. He's going to have to make some really serious and probably trial-changing decisions right now. He has not said that he's going to take it under advisement, so I do believe that he is going to rule on this today. Oh, the ripple effect, Marie, is going to be horrible. And how much you want to make a bet? If they sever these cases and Lori goes through on April 3rd as it's supposed to, I bet you any money April 4th, John Pryor is going to be ready to go. Once it's beyond that ability to change the order, once it's ordered, it's ordered. They're severed. It's going to be interesting, you guys. It's going to be interesting. Kitty Lawland says, in my honest opinion, if Lori or Chad walk, I believe they would be walking targets. Could very well be. I don't condone violence like that, but Sorry, you guys, for the cough. I was just answering somebody here. I'm on 3 different platforms here going out at you guys, so please bear with me. It's going to be a long 20 minutes, you guys. It's like a minute feels like 10 minutes. I think everybody wants to know who that is, Marie, but there is an unknown DNA sample. For those of you just joining us, there's been an unknown DNA sample found on that duct tape that was used to wrap JJ's body in the plastic. He absolutely does, and he has to start taking control of his courtroom. I'm thinking right now he is, if Jim Archibald is going to say, we're ready to go April 3rd, Your Honor. We're not going out until that's beyond the speedy trial, rights now. And it's like, she's already been denied her right to a speedy trial for October's trial date, January's trial date. If you do this again on April 3rd, you're putting her almost 2 years out from date of arraignment. Your Honor, I'm going to ask for friggin' dismissal. And she'll probably get it. And if they don't get it from him, they can go to a higher court. I think at this point, the only choice, if Jim Archibald says, he has one of two things he can say. He can say, Your Honor, we will agree to 60 days continuance, nothing more, or we're going for a dismissal, or we're going ahead with the April 3rd trial date. Those are the two things I think Archibald is going to say. He's not going to agree to this trial being put out to the end of the year, possibly early next year. It's not going to happen without getting Lori's case dismissed. So I feel that if Jim Archibald is steady, fast, steady, going to say we want our April 3rd trial date to go ahead, then the judge has no other choice but to sever these cases. That's just my opinion. That's what I think it's going to happen, is these cases are finally going to be severed if Archibald is not in agreement to the continuance that the judge is going to offer. If it's more than, I don't think he's even if it's a month down the line, unless they want to go over that evidence also. I think right now Archibald is sitting pretty. There's no evidence putting Lori there. So the best that they have her on right now is conspiracy. That's why I believe the prosecution has offered her a deal, because they know they cannot put her at the crime scene. So that's why I believe, and they want her to testify against Chad. So if she's not going to take that offer and she goes to trial, now they know. Now Archibald knows that the case against Lori is not strong. The reason why the prosecution wants the cases tried together is so that they can get a conviction on both. So the jury hears all the information and somehow get the jury to believe that Lori was involved with this, even with the deaths and carrying them out. You know what? You see what I'm going with that? They have a better chance of getting a first-degree murder charge on Lori joined than severed. They will not get that charge if they sever these cases. They don't have enough to put Lori at that scene like they do with Alex and Chad. They have the phone records and everything. They have the GPS of their phones that puts them both there. So the only thing I can see right now, if Archibald is saying, nope, we want our trial, it's April 3rd. This is the third continuance they've given. No, we're not willing to judge. She's been asking for a speedy trial. I don't think it's going to happen. He's not going to agree. Because to me, this new DNA evidence, it's not Lori's, so it doesn't put her there. I think that Archibald is going to say, absolutely not. We want to go ahead on the 3rd. And if we don't, we're asking for a full dismissal on Lori. So I do believe that he's going to have to sever these. That's just my opinion. He has to, at this point, sever these cases. Oh, they're both smart. They're both smart. They know what they're doing. It's just I'm tired of the game playing. Yeah, there's a third person. Depending on where this was found on the duct tape and whatever. Like I just, somebody just asked me on Twitter, and because I said that she's going to want to go to trial on April 3rd, and this person says, and let her go to trial without the same evidence that Chad will be waiting on. I said yes. I don't think they have first degree on Lori. Nothing puts her there, including this new DNA. They have her for conspiracy, but nothing puts her at the scene of the murders. Whereas Chad, they do. This new DNA only benefits Chad because it's unknown. So that's what I answered to that, you guys, just to be fully transparent. Okay, lots are talking during the recess about how Lori was walking. See? She was walking on her tippy toes with her shackles on, although she is wearing boots. Okay, so Lori's back in the courtroom. It looks like they're all coming back, you guys. Oh my gosh. So my gut instinct is telling me that they're going to sever. My gut instinct is telling me right now that the judge has no alternative than to sever or to force this to go ahead April 3rd. That's my call. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Right now, I'm saying he's either going to sever or he's going to force both to go April 3rd. Like, he's got to weigh the pros and cons here, and the cons being that if he doesn't sever these cases, and if Jim Archibald is forcing the judge's hand to go ahead on April 3rd, he has no choice but to sever. The only thing I can see is if Archibald agrees to give 2 months maximum, and keep the trials together, okay. But if the judge is saying, no, we don't have time to do it in 2 months, we can only do it at the end of the year, then they're going to push for the April 3rd, and it's going to have to be severed. So let's wait and see. Lori's back in the courtroom. They're waiting on the judge to come in. Okay, judge is back in. Court is back in session. Oh boy. Here we go, you guys. We are going to find out right here. Cross your fingers, you guys. I'm having it out with somebody else on Twitter here right now, you guys. They're saying that the murder scene was Alex's apartment. Well, I've not seen anything verified that the murders happened in Alex's apartment. There's been speculation about it, but there's nothing verified. I believe that they were both murdered in that red barn on Chad's property. That's what I believe. That's what I believe, you guys. I'm sticking to it. Oh, I'm getting attacked. Oh, God. Laura Pender, hello. We are waiting for the judge to rule. Court just came back into session, and we are waiting for the judge to rule on what he's going to do with this case. Is he going to put sanctions on the prosecution? Is he going to push forward with this? Now, I've seen a lot of people commenting over on Twitter that, the judge is just going to put sanctions, that the prosecution isn't going to be able to use this new DNA. Well, no, I can't see John Pryor going for that, because right now they have found an unknown DNA sample. And that is something that John Pryor is going to want. Okay? Because that goes good for his case. So I cannot see any kind of sanctions that can be put on the prosecution right now that would benefit the defense. So I can't see the defense asking for sanctions on this new DNA, that they can't use it, because John Pryor is going to want to be able to use this new DNA, because there's an unknown person that has come up on this duct tape. So I don't believe that they're going to be able to they're not going to ask for any sanctions to be put on regarding this new DNA. So they can either, if Archibald is going to push forward for the speedy trial for Lori, they are either going to have to sever it, or they are going to have to force Pryor to be ready for April 3rd, which is less than a month from now. John Pryor is saying that he needs at least 90 days. So he's asking for 90 days. The court basically said, well, if we continue this, it's not going to happen until the end of this year, if that, which means probably next year, which is going to put 2 years onto the speedy trial that Lori was entitled to. So it's going to be interesting to find out what the judge he backed himself into a corner. He's done this to himself. And now we got to just wait and see what the judge, he did say he's going to make some orders on this. So we are now waiting for these orders from the judge. What is he going to do? If he forces Lori to continue again, so if Archibald is saying, no, we want to go forward April 3rd, and the judge says, sorry, these trials are joined and you have to go with this new date, which could be probably next year, Archibald's going to flip out, and he's going to file for an automatic dismissal. No, I'm not. The prosecution is not being sanctioned. I said I'm being attacked on Twitter saying that the prosecution is going to be sanctioned because of this DNA, and I don't think that's going to happen, because John Pryor wants it in. And I've got another parcel at my door, you guys. This is crazy. Yeah, you don't got to knock. I heard the bell. Okay, there's nothing out yet. Give me a second, you guys. Hello. Okay, you guys. No, it's not going to. No, it's just saying that there's somebody else. They can prove that Chad was there. They can prove that Alex was there. But now there's this third DNA that is unknown. It's not Lori's, it's not Chad's, it's not Alex's. Because they have that DNA that they could have compared it to. There's an unknown DNA. So no, but it's good for Chad's side, because they could say, see, wasn't us. We're waiting on what the judge is going to decide. And I'm telling you guys, I didn't even remember this, that I ordered this. I've ordered so much because I've been so sick lately with this weather that we've been having. We're in for another storm again today. We've been without power, with power, without power. It's been crazy. I've been sick. I've ordered so much stuff. If Amazon drops off a llama or a cow to me tomorrow, I won't be surprised, okay? I think it's got to that point. Here we go. Boyce says, circumstances can arise and the court has to consider whether or not going forward with a joint trial in this case can impair the due process rights of the defendants. Told you he's going to sever. He knows at this point, if he does not sever these cases or go ahead with it, that Lori is going to get a dismissal. So it looks like I was right, you guys. He's going to sever these cases, I think, or he's going to force them all to go on the 3rd of April. Let's see. Boyce, what I'm absolutely not willing to do is engage in any speculation about what this new DNA evidence may end up revealing. So he's not willing to speculate. He wants more testing done on it to find out whose it is. That's what I'm reading into what was just said. That's just my opinion of what he just said. He said, what I'm absolutely not willing to do is engage in any speculation about what this new DNA evidence may end up revealing. Thank you. Thank you, Rainy Joe. I appreciate you. And thank you, you guys, for the super stickers, super chats. It really helps the channel, helps me to be able to keep doing this for you guys. So thank you so much for those. Again, you guys, for you guys just coming in, there's also new search warrants that have been put out regarding Brian Koberger. You give me about half an hour. Once this live stream ends, this live stream will go private for a bit. Usually takes about 15-20 minutes to upload to YouTube. Then it's back public. So if you are just joining us and you want to watch, then you will still be able to see that. Just give it some time to get public again. And then I will be going live with the Brian Koberger. We've got the search warrant back. There's been over 60 items just from the house that they took and the car. So I will be going over each one of those items with you guys live. Just give me about half an hour once this live stream ends, and we will jump right into that one. But right now, we are waiting to hear what Judge Boyce is going to decide regarding this trial. So far, I will repeat it again, he has said, circumstances can arise and the court has to consider whether or not going forward with a joint trial in this case can impair the due process rights of the defendants. To me, he is considering the sever. What I'm absolutely not willing to do is engage in any speculation about what this new DNA evidence may end up revealing. So, to me, it sounds like he wants additional testing done. And it sounds like Lori's team wants to go ahead on April 3rd. So it seems to me that they are going to sever this trial. Thank you, Marie Burks. Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys don't know how much every little bit helps you guys and helps to keep me being able to do this for you guys. So let's see, what's he going to decide? I believe he's going to sever. That is only if Lori's team wants to proceed with the April 3rd trial date. If they are not willing to give up more of her speedy right trials, and they haven't to this point, I take that back, because they have always said, we want her speedy trial rights recognized. We want it followed. We want her speedy trial. You've already taken away her October, her January. If you take away her April 3rd, we're going to go for a complete dismissal. Right? She has a right, you guys, no matter how much we hate her. And I do too. And I think she's guilty of sin for arranging this too. But she still has her rights to a speedy trial. And any further putting out of this case violates those rights unless Archibald is in agreement to put it off a little bit longer, which I don't think they are. Yes, but since she's been arraigned, they have to get her to trial within 6 months. Even though she had another mental health issue in October, September into October, or October into November. I don't know what it was. I think it was because she found out, I think she went off the rails again because she found out that her trial was not going to go ahead in October as planned. And that sent her into another frizzy. That's why I think that happened in October into November. But she was competent again in November. They said January, and then they took that away from her again. So, I mean, I don't like it, you guys, but she has her right to a speedy trial. Boyce. This is all Boyce, okay? The length of the delay, if I were to continue this, it would be up to Ada County, and I don't believe it could be a short delay. It would have to be more than 6 months additionally. If I force a continuance here, then I have to violate Miss Vallow Daybell's right to a speedy trial. Exactly what I just said, you guys. I've been saying this since the beginning. Like, you guys are pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. She has, no, it's not over yet, you Speakeasy. TK Sass, speedy trial again is. They have 6 months from the date she was arraigned to get her to trial. She has a right to have her trial within 6 months, unless she waives her right to a speedy trial, which she has not done. Chad has, but she has not. And each time a trial date was set, it was continued. The only one, as far as I'm concerned, you guys, that this DNA is going to help at all is Chad. It's not going to help the prosecution. It's not going to help Lori, because it's not Lori's DNA. It's not Chad's DNA. It's not Alex's DNA, because they have those samples. It's an unknown DNA. Okay? Right now, they don't have enough to get a first-degree murder conviction for Lori. Sad, but it's true. They have nothing that puts her there. They have her on the conspiracy, but I don't think they're going to get a first-degree murder conviction on Lori. That is why I believe the prosecution offered her a deal and not Chad. They have evidence that puts Chad there. It's on his property. They have his phone. They have what he said to Tammy about shooting a raccoon that was never found, but Tylee was, where he said he buried the raccoon. It's where he actually buried Tylee. They have all kinds of evidence against Chad, but now they have an unknown DNA. It's not Lori's, so it really doesn't affect Lori at all. But the ones that it could affect, John Pryor could use that to say, see, It's not Chad's. It's not Alex's. It was a third party that did this and just happened to bury the kids on his property. It's a weak argument, but it's an argument. They still have evidence that puts Chad and Alex there. And like I said, I think they're going to sever. Let's see. Yep. Here we go, you guys. Judge Boyce will sever the Vallow Daybell trial. I told you. The April 3rd trial date will be vacated for Chad Daybell. Lori is going through, and this is exactly what John Pryor wants, because John Pryor wants, because the evidence against the both of them was going to be the exact same, John Pryor wants to be able to see that before Chad goes to trial. That's why he's been pushing for this severance. He wants to know what exactly the Crown or the prosecutors have. That's why he's been pushing for this severance. And like I said, this new DNA really doesn't affect Lori's case at all because they have nothing putting her there. So I believe, this is going to be my prediction now, I believe that Lori is going to be found guilty for conspiracy and conspiracy only. That is my prediction right now. So Lori's trial is going to go ahead. Okay, so you guys, once this is done, it's not done yet. I want to see what else the judge is going to say about this. Once this live is done, you guys, it will go private for about 15, 20 minutes to upload to YouTube. Once that's done, you guys will be able to see it again. But give me about half an hour because now I am going to be going into the Koberger case, bringing you that live. I will be doing another live right after this one because the search warrant on the house has been released and the car. I have that. I have those documents as to what they found and what they seized. We will be jumping into that right after this live. Give me about half an hour, and I will be starting that live on the documents regarding what was found at his parents' house and in the car. I don't know if Kay and Larry are fuming. Again, Marie Brooks, thank you for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Larry and Kay must be fuming. I don't know. They just want this done. But let's see when they're going to put his out till. They should be giving us a date for that. Let's see when they're going to push Chad's out. You're very welcome, Cats. Thank you for being here. And thank you guys for the super stickers. I appreciate it. Mel O says, I want them to be able to bury the kids. Yes, me too. Me too, Mel. Like, let these kids rest. Okay, we're waiting now to see what the judge is going to decide for Chad Daybell's case, when that is going to go ahead. He has severed the trials of Lori and Chad. I wish they would have done this back in September. Lori could have already have gone through and she could have been on her way to Arizona to face the first-degree murder charges regarding Charles. And I don't think Chad's is going to go much before probably next year. I really don't. Bacamount says, I knew the judge was going to do what she wanted. He always does. That's not true. She has wanted her speedy trial since last October, and she hasn't got it. No, the bodies won't be released until the trials are over. But thank you, Maria. I love you too. Okay, so let's see when Chad's is going to be, if they're going to set a date for that. And don't forget, you guys, Lori's defense is saying no to cameras, where John Pryor's is saying, I want it in front of the cameras. Yeah, well, Lori's trial is going ahead on April 3rd, you guys. Lori's is going ahead on April 3rd. The April 3rd trial date is vacated for Chad Daybell only. Speakeasy says, I am screaming right now. Not funny now. Talking to myself. She cannot walk. I think she's going to be convicted of conspiracy to commit murder only. That's just my guess. I'm making that right now. I think that she will only be found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder. Chad can't walk either. He's not going to walk, but the unknown DNA, Alex, no. They have Alex's DNA, they have Lori's, and they have Chad's. It obviously that DNA does not match any of those three, so it's an unknown. We did pull some cards on that. Like I said, if you guys have missed that, you'll be able to watch this once it uploads to YouTube. Once this live ends, it will be private for usually it's about 15 minutes to half an hour, usually around the 15-minute mark. And then it's public again. That just gives time for it to upload and all that stuff. And then I'll be doing the Koberger because there's new documents out that shows what they took from the house of his parents and what they took from the car. So watch for that, you guys. Please make sure you're there for that one. You're not going to want to miss it. I don't think it's going to be relevant in Lori's trial. I don't think it's going to be relevant in Lori's trial at all. The only way it would have been relevant in Lori's trial if it would have been one of Lori's hairs. Don't forget, you guys, they have absolutely nothing putting Lori there. Okay? So that's why I'm saying that at best, I think they're going to get a conspiracy to commit murder for Lori. That's why I believe the prosecution has offered her a plea deal. Okay? So I do believe that she will be found guilty of the lesser charge of conspiracy to commit murder. I think she is not going to be found guilty for first degree. I don't think they have any evidence that puts her there. They have tons of evidence for the conspiracy, and for the fraud, for collecting the money for the kids when she shouldn't have. I think she knew about it and everything, but I do not think she was there. They cannot put her there. Yes, I will be doing the Koberger live with about half an hour. Once this live stream ends, give me about half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll be back live again with all what was found in the search warrants of his parents' house and the car. I will go over that with you guys. You can see it all. I will be going live with that. It's in the documents. Before they were all sealed, it was in the documents that, and the probable cause. It doesn't say that they have DNA to put her there. So you can go by what the probable cause was for her, go back over and look at the probable cause hearing. There is nothing that puts her there. No DNA, no GPS, no phone pings, no nothing that puts her at the crime scene when it happened. All right. Thank you, Marie. Okay, let's see if there's anything else, you guys. What the heck happened there? Okay, so I don't see anything else, you guys, coming out. So the trials have been severed. The April 3rd date has been vacated for Chad Daybell only. It looks like Lori is going to be going through on her own on April 3rd. We will have to wait and see. I just got to change this now. I do not think that we are going to get cameras in the courtroom for Lori's, because Archibald has been very strict about that. He doesn't want it. So that's where we stand, you guys. Exactly what I thought was going to happen. That he had no other choice but to sever these trials or to force Chad to go on April 3rd, which then gives rights for appeal there too, because they're forcing him, because the only one that this DNA evidence is going to be good for is Chad's. Doesn't affect Lori's, because it's not Chad's DNA, it's not Lori's, it's not Alex's. So the only one that it could benefit right now is Chad's. The prosecution has said all along that they feel that it was Chad, Alex, and Lori. They could only prove Alex and Chad being there during the murders and on that property when they were buried. They could only prove that Chad and Alex were there. They could never prove that Lori was actually there, but they got her with the conspiracy because they can prove that. So the only one right now that this helps, finding an unknown DNA, it's not helping the prosecution, because now the prosecution's going, that just blows our case. Doesn't blow their case, but who else is this other person there now? Because now Chad, Daybell's lawyers can say, see, it wasn't Chad that did it. It was somebody else who's unknown. So that's more fighting for between Pryor and the prosecution. I'm sure we're going to see all that in the coming weeks and months. I do not think that Chad is going to be going to trial now much before the end of the year, beginning of next year. But Lori is going to trial April 3rd, and I will be covering that. Okay, so give me about half an hour, you guys. Krista says, I love multiple live days. I don't, because I had things planned, but I'm willing to put those off for you guys. So that's why I say thank you very much for the super stickers, super chats, everything. Because I did have plans this afternoon, but I am going to go live with this also and bring that to you, because I have always said, if I make a promise, I keep it. I promised you I'd bring it. I'm bringing it to you. My crap can wait. Okay, so give it about half an hour for this to come back up public again, you guys, once this live ends. And I will see you in about half an hour, 45 minutes, where we are going live with the new search warrants. Over 60 items taken from the house alone. I'm going to have all that for you. I've got all the documentation. I got all the paperwork, stuff that's taken from the car. We got that too. I'll see you guys half an hour, 45 minutes. Love you guys to the moon and back. Mods, you rock. Thank you, you guys. Nana, love you too. See you guys soon. Bye-bye for now.